opinion about love is, right? Going back to reading number 1, which is students think love conquers all. So ask your family member or somebody close to you that's older what they think about love, and ask them how it was when they were young, how they dated when they were young. How is it, that they were their first boyfriend or their first girlfriend, or that partner, whatever, or what they did to talk to that person, and then ask them how it was, how did they find out information? Like if they liked a girl or a boy, how did they find out about that person? Because like I remember, for example, right, but I wanted to know, and so they were like, oh, they're probably not going to remember. I'm like, what do you mean they're not going to remember? Just go out and ask them. So they came back. Okay, they came back, and with real interesting stuff. I forgot, I left the envelope that I had with copies of what they did. But they interviewed, for example, people, grandparents. There was one student who interviewed a very close friend of his who was gay, who's from the community LGBT. And so this guy was talking about how, he was in love with this other man, and that he never was really, able to tell him. And so it was very awkward for him, and he suffered a lot until he finally was able to tell the guy, what, I like you. And they went on and they did, but it was the whole process of how do you find information about this person and how it's dating in the context of somebody being gay, which is something that I didn't even think about when I, assigned it. I didn't think that somebody would actually, interview a gay person, and it opened my eyes, not because I have a problem with that, but because I didn't think of it. And I was so happy, I was so grateful that, I had that experience too, because then you can actually compare, what it is that gay friends of ours or family members go through with this whole dating process, right, that we probably don't even think about. And then there was another student who talked about how his grandfather would say, the dating phase was at the funeral home, right? It was at the funeral home. If you wanted to go and find somebody, meet someone, you'd go to the funeral home. And everybody was like, so what they did was after they walked into the class. It's sick. Well, that's what's going on.
Explain it to me. I don't understand.
He interviewed his grandfather. I don't remember the town, but it was a small town. It's a small town. And he was asking him, so what would you do to ask a girl out and stuff? And I guess that the spot was the funeral home. So, más allá de estar velando a la persona que está muerta, and that reminded me of the story of El Velorio. You know how they do this whole thing about that everything that's going on has nothing to do with the person who's actually being velada. So he's talking about how his grandfather, they would go out and everybody would be like a social event. Going to the funeral home would be like a social event. And so they would just take advantage, and if there was, a girl that he thought that they could kind of be court, then he would go up to them and invitarla a salir. And a lot that came up was this whole thing of tú tenías que pedirle la mano a tu novia, o sea, a la persona que te gustaba. El muchacho tenía que ir y pedir permiso para que el papá le diera permiso para visitar o sacarla, and how, you would have the chaperone in the middle, sitting with them in the balcón or in the sala, and how they just, okay, it's time for you to go, it's until 9. So it was very interesting because they were relating everything and the difference of what was going on, then and what's going on now, and how they date or what they think love is, and then this whole discussion of what's romantic and what's not romantic and all of this stuff. So how I related it, what they had to do actually for the class was that they had to rewrite the interviews. So there was like 3 guiding questions that I gave them. Again, what do they think about love? How was it like when they were dating? And how would they find information about that person? So the assessment of the activity, I think I broke it down like this. I had assigned for them, they have 4 main homework assignments during the semester. And I say main because sometimes I give them like, okay, I want you to do this for homework, but main in the sense that they have more time. It's probably like, I give them like from 2 to 4 weeks for them to submit it. And online submission is that I try to incorporate, I try to help out with different applications that we have available to us, and one of them is Google Apps. Here at the university, we have our email integrated with Gmail. So students have the opportunity from their official email account to use Google Apps. So they can upload Google documents, which is very convenient because then if they wanted me, they had to submit it to me first, what they had done. I would revise or make comments, and they have it right there on their Google document. So only 2 students were familiarized with this tool, with Google Docs, in the classroom, and those two were because they took class from me last semester, but the semester before. So at least that helped them out too, because it's very convenient, Google Docs. Emily and I participated in a talk once, and I think we did everything, like we met literally on Google Docs, because it provides you, both of you guys can be on the document at the same time, and there's a chatting window. So you can chat, and I can see what Emily was changing, and Emily can see what I was changing, and we were chatting and discussing about the document right there.
So the idea would be that a student can write a document, and basically upload it to the internet, and you can download that same document.
I can open it from my email account
and change it.
He uploads it from their email account.
And you as a teacher, you could read all these people's documents, right?
Right, I can, because they shared it only with me.